Antonio Popco Studios in Oklahoma City. You're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. We are brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. Go online right now and order your pizza at papajohns.com. Time for our inbox segment. Your email questions answered here on video. Let's get right to it with this one from Webster. He says, I refuse to believe that this Thunder team is this average without Russell Westbrook.
Well, I mean, I don't know why you'd refuse to believe that the earth is round either, but I mean, it is so. They are this average. They played 10 games without Russell this time around, gone 5-5 against a not brutal schedule. I mean, this is what they are. They're just treading water till Westbrook gets back, and we can sit there and decipher it and try to figure out what to do better, how to get more points, how to play better defense, how to get Serge more involved, how to get Reggie Jackson going, Jeremy Lamb. Truth of the matter is, they're just a team without Russell Westbrook. You
know, you're going to do our Power Lunch live chat the day after me this week. I'll warn you. Lots of Thunder wannabe coaches out there. I did it today, and there were all sorts of suggestions about how to fix the Thunder. And I understand that, you know, people want to have a better understanding of, you know, why are players looking a lot more average than they do when Westbrook's on the floor. Well, you know, would it be easy to try to wrap your head around, you know, just play as well as you always do with Russell Westbrook? Sure, that makes a lot of sense, but the truth is Westbrook does a ton when he's out there on the floor. And mentally and physically, it's much more demanding on these guys when he is not out there. So, you know, you're trying to understand, why don't these guys hit wide open shots now that he's not on the floor like he does when he's on the floor? It's just a different team when he's not out there. And right now, it's a mediocre team, and I think everybody just has to accept it, take a deep breath, and realize he will be back. It will be okay. Back to the inbox, this one from John. He says, Texas had a chance to hire a proven head football coach, and they got a coach whose tenure has been built on one quarterback. Without him, that quarterback being Teddy Bridgewater, Louisville will collapse next year. Wow, Barry, what about that?
Well, you know what? I think Charlie Strong's an excellent coach. He proved it at Florida, coaching those defenses all those years, and he was very successful at Louisville. But you know, the reader has a point. We've seen that with some other coaches who ride the success of a quarterback. You know, some people are interested in Kevin Sumlin. What will he do? He's basically had 7 years as a head coach. 4 of them he had Case Keenum. 2 of them he had Johnny Manziel. The 1 year he didn't have either one, he was mediocre. So, you know, we've seen Mike Gundy, Bob Stoops, all kinds of coaches. If they don't have a big-time quarterback, they're not as good. So I think it'll be interesting to see what Charlie Strong does, especially year one. He's not going to have a Teddy Bridgewater-type quarterback. However, I do think the resume of Charlie Strong is very solid. I think he's a good coach. I think he's going to do a good job. But Teddy Bridgewater did help him get the Texas job.
Well, sure he did. And you know what? Teddy Bridgewater was his guy. He came in when Charlie Strong came in. So Charlie Strong's thought enough of Teddy Bridgewater, and his staff, by extension, thought enough of Teddy Bridgewater to offer him a scholarship, thinking he might become a really good quarterback. Lo and behold, he did. You know what? If he can go out and duplicate that in the next couple recruiting classes for Texas, you think that'll fire up Longhorn fans if he goes out and gets him a quarterback or two like Teddy Bridgewater? I think they'd be pretty excited about that. So yeah, it was a lot of Teddy Bridgewater, but that was Strong's, him and his staff going and getting Teddy Bridgewater. So let's see if he can duplicate that at the quarterback position at Texas. All right, back to the inbox from Jim. He says, after watching OSU play until almost midnight at the Cotton Bowl, are you still in favor of instant replay in baseball? And this was without any coach challenges. Baseball night games, bring your breakfast.
I got to say, the Cotton Bowl was insufferably long. I think it was 4 hours, 12 minutes.
I blame the Big Ten refs for crying out loud.
Well, the refs lost control, and we had a bunch of reviews, and Fox has long commercials. But the truth of the matter is that game was out of control. It's a problem in sport. And I think, you know, a lot of people say just the media gripes about it. I don't think that's so, especially if you're sitting home watching a basketball game or a football game on television. Think of how many games you don't get to see the start of, or you have to go over and watch on ESPN News. The start of the game just the other night, I'm watching an OU or OSU basketball game. The other game goes long. You got to watch early on ESPN News, then it flips over.
How many DVRs have cut off mid-game for
happens
people? All the time. Yeah.
All the time. The length of games is a problem. I don't think, Mike Gundy blamed it on on video review down at the Cotton Bowl. That was a portion of it, but I think it's just the general nature of more commercials, longer games. Just everything's getting bigger in sport, some of it to the detriment of the games.
And I think in some ways, you saw the NFL adapt a couple years ago when they kicked back that second window on Sunday afternoons because they realized those games aren't fitting into that noon to 3 window anymore. We need a little more space. I think we may just have to accept that, I think commercials are a big part of it. These sports, these conferences, these networks, they want to make money, and obviously you do that through your advertisers, so you got to trot those out as many times as you can. Now, did it get overwrought a little bit in the Cotton Bowl when you had officials checking the down that was going on? That was a little over the top. That might have pushed it a little bit, but that's not happening on a regular basis. You just see longer games. I think we're just going to have to accept games are longer nowadays. All right, lastly from the inbox, this one's from Bob. He says, a prediction. OU's quarterback depth chart will be Trevor Knight, Cody Thomas, and Justice Hansen. Blake Bell will move to another position, and Kendall Thompson will transfer.
Well, Bob's got it all figured out. He's got it all set.
Unless this is Bob Stoops,
I tell
Gary.
You, I don't think Kendall Thompson's going to transfer. He says he's not. Now you never know. Now Blake Bell may move to tight end. I don't know. But I can tell you this. I don't know that the Sooner coaching staff would be thrilled about going into August with Cody Thomas and Justice Hansen as their number 2 and number 3 quarterback, guys that have never taken the field or taken a meaningful practice snap, behind a quarterback who has made 5 starts and finished only 3 of them. So Trevor Knight, fabulous job in the Sugar Bowl, but he so far has shown he's not, he doesn't have a propensity to finish games. So I think you're going to see Kendall Thompson or Blake Bell, at least one of those two, be the backup quarterback in 2014.
Mr. Durability, Trevor Knight, has not proven to bend just yet. And, it's interesting. I was sort of reminded of durability for running quarterback as I was watching that Texas A&M Duke game. You watch Johnny Manziel get whacked around, hit as hard as he does. That guy has been durable. That's an unappreciated aspect of his performance over the last couple years, is just how durable he's been as a running quarterback. And not every running quarterback is like that. Trevor Knight may prove us wrong. He may play every game of the season next year, finish them all. For that, the Sooners would be grateful. But I haven't seen it. It looks like that's not going to be the case with him, at least in the short term. So if you're Kendall Thompson or Blake Bell, much like Clint Shelf was at OSU, don't you look at that and say, I think I got a chance to be in the rotation if I stick around. I think they'll both be there. And yeah, I got to think Kendall Thompson is somewhere in those top 3 when the depth chart comes out for next fall. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.